Okay, first things first, right? Never trust these marks on the side. I'll show you why right now. Okay, this says 20, right? It's really at 19, we'll call it 4. Okay, maybe we measured wrong. Maybe we went from so there's 2 ways you can do it, right? Back of the board, front of the board. I like to do front of the board because we want to eat this whole thing up. This is inches that we're not getting in our jump. We obviously don't want to scratch. And some boards are like different widths. Okay, so I like to go front of the board. So now that we're at front of the board, let's see where we're at here. Still not quite 20, right? So this difference in 3 inches is what can put you over or behind. So you get to a track and they don't have this. At all the big meets, like all the official meets, they're gonna have this because these never change. But different tracks have different ones of these, slightly. But that slight difference is scratch and no scratch. Okay? So we're gonna use this. I was hoping that this was on, but clearly it's not. So we're gonna use the real tape measure to get our marks, okay? Hold on, let me adjust this thing. Okay, so go hold the thing down for me while I pull it back. So we're off like 3 inches on each one of these markers. And that's why we use the real tape measure, not the marks on the side. All right, so the way that we get our approach, okay, is that we start here. We run back. Okay, so what foot do you jump off of?
My left.
Left?
Yeah.
On both? Triple and long? Okay, so we want to create the same, you have to run the same every time. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's your job. If you run different, then I can't help you that much. One more thing to add to all of our confusion. When we start the year, we start with like 6 or 7 step approach. Okay?
Okay.
Middle of the year, we go to like 8. End of the year, we can possibly do 9 if we're strong enough.
Okay.
The reason why is that you're going to get stronger as the year goes, faster, right? What you're going to notice is that your first 100 meter ever is going to feel like a 200 meter. You're going to be like, I didn't even think the 100 could feel that long. After 2 months, it's going to be easier. At the end of the year, you're going to be faster, right? And so if we start with a 9-step approach and we hit our max speed at the triple jump board when we're supposed to hit the max speed at the long jump board, we've done harm to ourselves. Does that make sense? A little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to count 7 lefts. Does that make sense? Okay. $82. Now we're gonna walk back, we're gonna do it again. What percentage was that?
That was like 70.
70? And how would you do your run-throughs if we hadn't met and you were just, would it be like that? And you were at a meet and you were getting ready to do a jump?
Maybe faster.
How much faster?
It was at a meet, like 90.
Like 90?
Yeah, like 80.
Or like 80? And when you do your approaches at practice, what do you do?
Like 80.
Like 80?
Yeah.
85? Okay. So again, we want to remove too many variables from the equation. That part you understand. So when we do run-throughs, they should be at 95 every time. which is why we don't do run-throughs after a hard training day, which is why we don't do run-throughs when it's raining and cold, right? Unless we're getting ready for a meet in the rain and cold, that's different. But there's no point in doing run-throughs at practice at 85, getting to the meet, trying to do run-throughs at 95. You're not going to be in the same place. One of the biggest obstacles is, where are you looking when you decide to go?
Where was I looking? Down? Forward?
Yeah. I already know that you are worried about the board. When you have to be worried about the board if you're doing your approaches different every time and worrying about scratching.
Yeah.
We want to remove everything. I want you focused on your 45 degree. Before you begin, the only equation we're doing is how can I get through that little hole in the trees over there?
Okay.
Well, I have to be hella fast and I have to jump hella high.
Yeah.
All right, check. I don't have to worry about the board at all because Coach Chase and myself worked on it over and over and over. And I know that if I run at 95% speed, I'm gonna hit the board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so we're gonna scratch what we just did. We're gonna run 95% all the way through the end of you see the orange tape, like the tape that's on the side there? That's exactly right. You see how far you finished?
Yeah.
Perfect. Why? Because you were running much, much further. You see how we were at 84 and now we're at 77? That's perfect. That's because you ran faster. Whenever you're taking your time, you see the difference? So you practiced, you got an 84 mark, you got to the meet, you said, oh, I want to jump far today. It's sunny, I feel good.
Yeah.
I had a good breakfast. Now we're at 77. Why is my mark off? Well, because those are two different approaches.
Yeah.
So your challenge, like that every time. My challenge is to say, hey, it's a bit windy today. Let's go ahead and, it's a bit windy and it's at our back. Let's go ahead and move back a little bit. Hey, it's a bit in your face. Let's go ahead and move up a little bit. You look a little bit tired today. Okay, on the two other run-throughs you did, you were behind the board. I'm gonna move you up a bit. Mm-hmm. You didn't get a full warm-up in. You were kind of late. Let's go ahead and, right? That's my job.
Yeah.
Your job is to just go the same. Same.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do something different, then I can't help you. Let's go back. Let's do another one. Okay, we're at like 80 here. And the difference in those two is what? If you had to take a guess.
I feel like I was lower.
Lower?
Yeah.
For sure you were.
Yeah.
You weren't upright.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and we know we have to be upright to approach the board. And another thing that you're gonna have to learn as well. If you don't know, that's cool too.
I don't know.
Okay, you just did one sprint. You walked back, you did another sprint.
Uh-huh.
Before, we were doing standing long jumps. I talked your ear off for 30 minutes about philosophy and physics and math, and then I made you go, so you got a little bit cold. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this is another lesson. I did my run-throughs, I'm on the board, right? Yeah. And I'm the sixth jumper in a flight. So what do? I go put my sweats on, right? I hang out. Chase, you're on deck. Chase, you're in the hole. I take my sweats off, I get here. I just been standing there for 15, 20 minutes, and then I try to go again, and now I'm behind the board, right? What should happen is put my sweats on, I hang out. Chase, you're on, you know what on deck and in the hole means? Chase, you're on deck. I get up, I do a 40-yard sprint. I chill out, I turn around and do a 40-yard sprint. Chase, you're in the hole. Now my sweats come off. But personally, I keep my sweats on. Chase, you're up. I take my, because I have, if you didn't know, you have 60 seconds from the time that they wave the flag for you to go, and in between, and the time that you have to jump.
Okay.
So I take my time because, again, we won't go over it, but, okay?
Yeah.
So that's what just happened. So let's go ahead and do one more before I talk your ear off again and see where you're at. Okay, let's go. We were at like 78-10-ish. Okay, so this is the expected range here. This is not a signal of any foul play.
Okay.
This to 84, too big. That means your fault. You did something wrong.
Yeah.
Here to here, we can make easy adjustments to get there. So that was 3 in a row. Okay, we're gonna go at 79. We're gonna turn around and go this way. Now, whenever you're ready, you take your time. Make sure that you're upright as you approach the board, okay? We're gonna work on getting you on the board, and then I'll talk to you about what needs to happen from there to here. We have to do some things like right here. That'll help us jump. Oh, wait. Why'd I do that? I don't want you worrying about the board. And the way to not have you worry about the board is if you don't even know where it is. So now we're just sprinting. Does that make sense? We got to pay attention to our first step, okay? Again, the difference between a scratch and on the board. From the very beginning, your first step is wrong. I'm not saying that that's what you did. I'm saying that this is something to pay attention to as you do. This is going to become, you're a basketball fan, is that correct? This is going to become like a free throw. Yeah, it's going to become like a free throw so that, again, we don't even have to think about it. Yeah. From back there, our concern is this way. The whole time, okay? Triple same. Bing, bing, bing. We've taken out all the variables, no more thinking done, which will develop as you continue. Yeah. Try again. And so that was the wrong foot, right? Why? What we just talked about.
The start?
Yep. I like that start much better than the one before. But the reason you were on the wrong foot is because you changed the way you start. Yeah. So I would much rather prefer that you take that approach and make that your free throw shot rather than the one before that. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. What are we feeling on a scale of, so one more thing about approaches is that unlike free throws where you do your liners, you want to know how to shoot free throws when you're fatigued, when you're tired, when the game's on the line. You don't want to learn how to do approaches when you're fatigued and tired. Okay. Right? Yeah. They have to be fresh, otherwise our fatigue is going to set us here, and then we come to the meet. Long jump is often the first thing we do. Triple jump is often later. Yeah. So then these, right? Let's do 3 more and we'll call it a day. Okay? Because though the next, and now I feel free to, I'm going to talk to you a bit because we have to learn how to do them in sets. Because what did I tell you like yesterday was oftentimes you do 3, they rearrange the order, they tell you what the finals is going to be like, they have you do 3 more. That can be 30 minutes. Yeah. You could possibly have to go run 100, come back and do finals, all of which you've got to learn how to manage. Luckily, I had to do it so I can teach you how to manage those situations if that's what happens. 400 is super hard to recover from. So if you have to do the long jump, the 400, the triple jump, again, something that I can teach you how to manage.
Yeah, I've had to do that a lot last year.
And you found it difficult?
Yeah.
Sure. So one of the quick tips, right, after we do our events, when we're here, track meet is all day. Friends are here, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff happening. One of the things that I have to challenge you with, and that my coaches challenged me with, is to not be everywhere, talking to people, doing all these kind of things, right? If I know I have to jump, do the 100, do the 200, do the 4x4, do the open 4, whatever, then that whole time that I have, like, if I start my day at 8 a.m. and the 4x4 is at 4 p.m., I have to be, from 8 to 4, I have to be focused, for a lack of a better term, right?
Locked in.
Yep, locked in. So after I do my, what happens oftentimes is, right, for me it was the long jump and 4x1 kind of same time. So no worries, I warm up once, I get my good jump in, I do the 4x1, maybe I finish my jumps, then I have to get ready for either the 1 and the 2, or the 2 and the 4x4, or something like that. So we do our cool down, and then I go sit in the stands in the shade.
Yeah.
Or even better, if there's a place to put my feet up, maybe I lay down and I put my feet above my heart. If it's behind the bleachers, if it's in the car, we're just chilling.
Yeah.
Right? 45 minutes before our next event, we get up, we start to move, we do a light warm up, right? That's kind of how you manage those situations. And they become easier the better shape that we're in, although the 400 is never easy, and jumping after the 400 is never easy. So you're gonna have to be super strong and super in shape.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go do 3 more. Okay, we're gonna call it a day. Okay, you feel good about that? Yep.
Yeah.
So when we meet here again, we're going to continue. 82 is your mark for now.
Yeah.
So if you had to jump this weekend in the meet, you start at 82. Now next time we have to teach you how to do, we have to do it with what's called a pop-up. You know what a pop-up is? Okay, so I'm gonna do my full approach. And then when I get down here at the board, I'm gonna do a takeoff. You know what a takeoff is?
Good job.
Yeah, just a jump with no landing.
Yeah.
So if I tell you to do a run through. If I tell you to run through with a pop-up, when you get here, you're gonna go, and then just keep going. You'll land in the sand somewhere and just let your momentum take you out of the back of the pit. Okay? And the reason we need to add the pop-up is it's gonna change things down here. Because our penultimate is gonna be long, right?
Yep.
You know what a penultimate is?
Like the final jump.
Yeah, so penultimate means the step before the final jump. It's how we transfer speed to height.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Right? Again, same for basketball when you're about to dunk. Same thing. But what's gonna happen is we've got to get your penultimate down. We have to get your approach down with your penultimate added into the equation, because that's another factor that if we don't adjust for is gonna throw you off. All right? Oftentimes they're long on everyone, but our job is to make them the penultimate you want as short and as quick as possible. But by default, the penultimate is a long step. Does that make any sort of sense?
Yeah.
So we want to take that long step and make it as short as we can, because the shortness and the quickness of penultimate is going to translate to super high.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, you transfer that energy.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And you want to lose exactly, you think about it right. You don't want all your energy going into the board. You want it to
Yeah.
So we'll go over all that stuff. Why don't you take your spikes off and do just a cool down lap, and we'll get out of here. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for today. We had a nice jump practice. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe.